UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had.
Welcome in on a Friday here on Unpaved. He is Sean Salisbury. Follow him at Sean Unfiltered. I'm Adam Sager. You can follow me at Adam G. Sager. The show at Unpaved on Rumble. Head over to YouTube, like and subscribe to the show at Unpaved. Sean Salisbury. Sean, we got a lot of football to talk today. We did have a basketball highlight from last night that we'll throw in later in the show. I don't know if you saw that one, but we start down there in Houston with the Texans beating the Bills 23-19. And Sean, I'm just going to say it. Josh Allen didn't look great. That last interception he threw with about 18 seconds left was one of the worst throws I've ever seen him make. And I know what he was trying to do with the penalty where everybody ran into each other. He had a touchdown 5 yards to his left, and he throws the interception. So welcome in. And what were your takeaways from Josh Allen and this Bills offense only scoring 19? We know the Texans defense is number one scoring in the league, but damn, we expect more from this Bills team, and they didn't show up.
Well, why are you expecting more after what we've seen this year? But I'm with you. I had them going to the Super Bowl and winning it. Yeah, I agree. But isn't this who they are now? Here? Give me a good one. Give me a bad one. Give me an average one. Give me two good ones, one bad one, one average one. I mean, they've been the Dow Joneser all year long. When they win, man, it looks awful pretty. But they'll have some ugly performances. And last night was another one. We told you to watch out for the Texans defense yesterday. Mm-hmm. That if they could take Josh Allen away and force a few problems, that the Houston Texans give short fields, that the Houston Texans had every legitimate shot with the way Davis Mills was playing that defense. And they are as good as anybody. This is a Super Bowl defense. I'm just telling you, said it at the beginning of the year before they even teed one up. They don't have a weakness on that defense. They may give up a few plays and miss a few tackles, but this year they've even improved. Now, back to Josh Allen. It almost feels wrong to criticize the guy who, but even Superman can't fly sometimes, right, Segs?
Yeah.
It does. You think, well, all he does, but listen, you got to compartmentalize. We're not talking about the overall body of who Josh Allen is. I think he's as good a football player as we have in the world. But at quarterback, we judge each game. We judge for every player, but at quarterback, we're probably even harsher. We'll put a guy in the Hall of Fame after one performance, and then we'll break him down and tell him he should be out of the league after a bad performance, which neither is the case. Josh Allen's proven he's headed to Canton, looking for a Super Bowl ring. Let me tell you, Segs, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, he led the league in red zone picks, and you saw that creep in last night. He's protected the ball pretty damn good the last couple of years, but I think it was 5 or 6 times he had thrown picks in the red zone. Remember a couple times, Segs, where he did like I remember one he scrambled and there was right there and he threw it right to a guy sitting at the goal line to another team. It was like that he lost vision of the player a couple times that year. And you're like, damn, he fixed it. Last night it crept in again, and you're talking about the play when, the interception when they're driving down to win. Got him in position to do it. Remember also took a couple sacks to put him in position. And then I know the Texans fans like, you got to be kidding me, on 4th and long and they get 40-plus yards. You're like, oh, my gosh, how does this happen? Well, good football players do good things at the right time. That's what happens. Josh Allen's performance validated again the two things yesterday. Texans defense, and if Josh Allen plays average, the Buffalo Bills are not going to win. They're just not. And at one point, Segs, I'm watching because, I bet the under. I'm sure you were the same way thinking, damn, I know we picked the under as well on the show yesterday. We're both sitting there thinking, that's going to hit the over because, man, they're scoring a few points. And, man, what's a couple touchdowns here or a touchdown there? Well, they hit the under. And Vegas is amazing. But Josh Allen, and this is my concern about Buffalo. First of all, I'm going to tell you, as big and physical as he is, Segs, taking this many hits, like a dozen of them, 8 sacks, and I think 4 or 5 more hits on the quarterback. It's going to wear, and then we're not even counting the broken runs or the runs that he goes, which is just a normal tackle in space. I thought the Texans' defense was spectacular. The Buffalo Bills' protection last night was putrid, and a couple of them were on Josh. He went hero on him last night, Segs. That's another problem. And we don't criticize the guy much because he plays so well each week, but he's not above it. And last night, he tried to. I'm sure he could feel the momentum or lack thereof at times in the game for his team. So what happens? You try to do what he's done a million times: be a hero in the game and pull stuff out. And he tried it last night. Held the ball too long at some point. Didn't get the protection at the others. Didn't get the catches he needed on the other end at others. Forced ball at the other time. And then the Texans defense took advantage of pretty damn near much every opportunity to either get to him, hit him, or force those turnovers. You can't take 8 sacks. You can't throw the ball to the other team in the red zone and during the game. Hell, they had another touchdown called back, Segs, if we recall. Remember on the pick 6, it's called back on a block in the back. Bullock's a really good player, by the way. I digress, but damn, is he good. So, and, fight on for USC and all that stuff. But it was, you can't do that at home and win, let alone going on the road and win. And it was set up. It's amazing they were even in the game, considering all those mistakes. And he's a big reason why they were. The Texans defense is real. They're a Super Bowl defense. If their offense matches, they're going to be dangerous. And if Davis Mills, and we'll get to these, if Davis Mills doesn't hold down this fort for 3 straight starts, the Texans are out of it. So now they're in the thick of it. That Josh was average, below average, and was not a good game for him. One of his worst decision-making, and obviously the sacks. But it's not just him, but we always go to the quarterback first. And if he doesn't play great, the Buffalo Bills are not a February threat, period. He can play decent, they're not a threat. He can play pretty good, they're not a threat. When they get to January, he has to do this, or they will not be a threat to get to February, and they'll go home early again, just like they have the last few or since he's been in the league.
Well, and part of me, I put a lot of this on Josh Allen, but part of it I also put on Joe Brady. I thought way too many passes. I thought James Cook looked good running the ball. He had the long, 45-yard touchdown run early in the game, and then continued on with over 4 yards.
He's looked good all year, Segs. Right. 2 years in a row, the guy's been a player.
But he only gets 17 carries to Josh Allen's 35 throws. And this wasn't like a big deficit that they had to come back and throw their way back into. So I put some of this on Joe Brady by getting away from James Cook, who is so dynamic with the football. And it felt like he's kind of just said, okay, Josh, it's your game. Let's go. And Josh, for going against the number 1 defense in the league, it's tough to do by yourself. And when you don't have that run game later in the game going like it should be, especially with this team, it hurts you.
This is a life cereal commercial, like we said last week as well, Segs. If let's get Mikey, he'll do anything.
Yep.
Joe Brady, it's not just the quarterback who wants to be a hero. It's Joe Brady who's so friggin' good. We know what he's done with Burrow, and we know how good he's been. And now this Josh Allen stuff, he's been fortunate. He's coached some great quarterbacks, but he's also been damn good at coaching them. Is you get caught up in gawking, Segs, watching the guy play. So what do you do as a coordinator? Saying, well, damn, he dresses in a phone booth every week. We'll just have him go be a hero again. So you throw the hero on him, knowing that the cape's going to come through and make a play. Well, here's the problem. When you do that, if he doesn't, it puts you in a major bind, because you really do. Segs, when we were playing Detroit when I was in Minnesota, and I'm sure it happens a lot of places, I can remember 2 different times where I was left with my jaw hanging out watching an opponent. Now, listen, playing against Rod Woods, I mean, more than 2 times. I mean, when you play against Mike Singletary, guys like that. But I'm talking about 2 times when the offensive guy on another team was playing against our great defense. Is when Marino and Warren Moon got into a battle in Minnesota and Miami. They're both going up and down the field. It was easy to sit there and watch Danny play, and you're like, he's doing this against our team, but damn, this dude's real. And then I'm sure if you're a Miami fan, you're like, hell, it's not just Marino. Warren's going to throw for 4 bills too. It's just up and in. You get caught viewing it as a fan like, damn, I'd buy a ticket to this. I'm standing here watching this duel against these 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And when we played Detroit, it was Barry Sanders. Dude, we'd go in there and play it, but when they have the ball, you're like rooting for your defense, but you also get caught like, oh, I'm a fan of this dude's pretty damn good. I'm glad I don't have to tackle his ass. Not rooting for them, but mesmerized by his ability. As a quarterback, everybody wants the Marino release. Watching Barry Sanders run for 100 yards behind the line of scrimmage and still go rush for 170 is a treat. You just don't want it to happen to you. And we got to face him twice a year for 5-6 years, whatever it was that we played against him in Detroit when I was in Minnesota. Well, as a coordinator, it would be easy. As a coach, listen, Segs, and coaching all-star games or camps or whatever that I've done, I've gotten caught up into it. My quarterback's rolling. When we did the U.S. Army All-American game, I'm thinking, I don't need to run it. I just put the ball in this guy's hand. He's throwing for 450 and 7 touchdowns or whatever. What do I need a run game for? Well, the other guys are playing good too, and eventually a ball gets tipped and now you're in trouble. And they were never out of it where they needed to change and shit can their game plan. So I can get why Joe Brady's thinking that, but when you quit running it and then you throw the hero cape on top of Josh Allen, you saw the first interception that was returned by Bullock. What happened? Seg's ball was tipped. And so even it would have been a good throw. Boom, guy baits him, makes a great throw underneath, tips the ball, did Al-Shaair, and bam, they pick it and it comes back on a penalty. But look at the statistic again, Segs. Even though it wasn't a drastic difference. Rushes, 26 attempts for the Houston Texans. 24 attempts, and those weren't, and only 17 of those, you said, by Cook, having a good night. 24 rushes. Who wins the game in the end? Once again, folks, it's not yards and all that. Go look at rushing attempts for the most part, and 80+% of the time, the team that rushes the ball more, regardless, that game wasn't out of hand where you had to throw it. Who rushes the ball more is going to win for whatever metric that fits. It fits. It's as alarming a statistic as there is like turnovers in football. And there you have it. And Superman was Superman at times, but if he's not 4 quarters of Superman, the Buffalo Bills will be in trouble every friggin' week. That's how important Josh Allen is, but how important the other things are not to force his hero play, which he did, Joe Brady did, and it ended up with a great defense costing the Buffalo Bills a win. They are not going to win the division. The New England Patriots are going to win that division. They're better than Buffalo is right now. They proved it on the field when they played them. And right now, I'm not saying they got better players at superstar positions. They are a better team all around right now. That ain't fool's gold like I heard from somebody else. I don't know what they're going to do in January, but it ain't regular season fool's gold. I can tell you that right now. And last night, the Texans defense showed exactly why everybody wants to have a defense like that.
Yes, for sure. You talk about Superman. He may not be Superman, but the guy that showed up, you mentioned it, and kept the Houston Texans in the playoff hunt is Davis Mills, the backup quarterback. And he comes in, like you said, 16 of 30, not the greatest completion percentage, but took care of the ball and made the throws when he needed to get the touchdowns, had 2 touchdowns, didn't turn it over. So another just solid performance. And that's all you ask from your backup. You're not going out there and say, hey, go out there and be Tom Brady, go out there and be Josh Allen, go out there and be Lamar Jackson. No, just go out there and play us a solid game. Don't turn the football over and keep us in the game, and we'll find a way to win. And that's exactly what Davis Mills has done 3 weeks in a row for this Texans team.
Segs, what do we say the week C.J. Stroud got the concussion and DeMeco Ryans? I was livid when he said, "Oh, we're not going to ask him to do too much. Right. We'll just hope that he, basically." And I'm paraphrasing. It was basically saying he didn't use these phrases, but kind of dumb it down since you back up, not have too many expectations. Yeah. And I said, no, that's not the way you approach it. You don't tell him not to do anything. You go tell him to do everything. Not be a hero, but do everything you do well. Listen, when you watch Davis Mills drop back and throw the ball, I mean, it's not a night and day difference between him and Stroud. Stroud's a hell of a player, but Davis Mills can throw it. He started the first 2 years of his career. The guy has starting experience, and he learned a lot. And he was on horseshit teams too. Although they won some games, they couldn't close anything, and he lost his job. And I get it with Stroud, but this is exactly what you're asking your backup to do. Prepare yourself to play every day. Be prepared not to play any day. And when you do play, drive the bus, as Denny Green told me, and I'll always say here, and go win a game for us, so I can trust you. And I'm telling you right now, if you're D'Amico Ryans and if you're Nick Caley, I'm not backing off any throw when I need Davis Mills to come through, because he's put team ahead. He's brought his team down when the game was over. The game was literally, I mean, what was it, last week or the week before, Segs, when they were done. And what did he do? They brought themselves back against the Jaguars, and brings them back with help from his friends. Mm-hmm. He's not only surviving games, he's putting you in position to win them. So he's taking the role serious. He prepared, not getting any work for the most part all season long, but ready when the ding ding ding, when it was time. It's the bell rung to go out to the middle of the ring and get into a fist fight. And he has shown up. So we're spending time talking about who's not. Let's talk about the guys that are ready. Because without Davis Mills performing at an adequate, even with good defense, they do not beat Jacksonville. They don't win last night if he turns the ball over. One more turnover in the red zone like Josh Allen had, they may lose that football game. And then in his first start, struggled early, then came on, played great in the second half. And here we are, 3 straight wins. They now are above 500 at 6-5, right, Sigs? So if they win one of those and lose one instead of 6-5, they're 5-6, which now puts you in a major chase mode. They may still be chasing in the hunt, but now it's getting a little tighter and everybody's squeezing a little more. So Davis Mills, good on you. But, look around. How much social media are you hearing about this? The guy has literally done exactly and then some what a backup's supposed to do, without one bitch, without one complaint, without 1 ounce of fanfare, without what's going on. We're talking about people that aren't making plays as opposed to people that are. And Davis Mills is a big reason why, with the guy on the left there in the picture, CJ Stroud, who's in street clothes because of concussion, you needed this guy to come in. And now when CJ comes back, guess what? He's not playing, we're just playing to finish up the season. He's playing to keep it going. So the trust factor among the teammates and coaching staff has grown also. So not only is he driving the bus, the damn dude is changing tires and fixing the engine to get his teammates there where they need to be. That is how it's supposed to be done. And when they look back at this season, if they're able to get in the playoffs, they're going to look back and say, that's why you invest in backup quarterbacks, and that's why they got to stay ready, and that's why they don't get shit when it comes to first-team reps, but still have to be ready, because that's the nature of the position and the nature of this league. And that's why backup quarterback's very difficult, because you never know when it's called, and if you screw it up, you'll be on your way out the next year. And you do it without much fanfare, without much reps, and you got to do it. It's important. And it's salvaged 3 wins with a defense that is friggin' lights out right now and has been all damn year. The Texans were better than Buffalo last night, and their defense and Davis Mills a big reason why. And I'm going to tell you again, like I said yesterday, Woody Marks is a hand. You already see he's getting the workload anyway. That is your future at running back right there. Inside, outside, catch the ball. And that is how running backs in this league need to be. 3 down back. Yes. That guy gets it.
All right, moving on to Sunday. We got a big matchup. 2 division leaders, Steelers and Bears. This game's in Chicago. Aaron Rodgers still kind of questionable, still figuring out the wrist. He practiced yesterday, and by all accounts, everything went fine. It's his left wrist, so it's obviously not his throwing wrist. And it'll be interesting to see if he plays. But if he is on the field with this game in Chicago, who do you give the edge to right now as we sit on Friday?
I actually like the Bears in the game, Segs. I do. Listen, left wrist, all that stuff, he'll be fine. How he hands he'll be fine. It's not going to affect the way he throws it. You tell me what scares you about the Pittsburgh Steelers, other than Mike Tomlin's history, and he's a good coach, and we know it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Forget history. I'm going to talk about you going to this game right now. What scares you? That they are going to have the breakout game, maybe where wide receivers get rolling, the running game gets rolling, they're physical deep. They put it all together in one fell swoop. The Pittsburgh Steelers do, and they look explosive. You tell me going into a game right now what scares you about the Pittsburgh Steelers. First off, if you're defending them.
Nothing.
Not really. A damn thing, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, they got good players. The pieces are pretty good.
Right.
I'm talking about the overall
never come together.
Body. Right. Where 2 or 3 weeks in a row that the defense and offense are kicking your ass. As good as Aaron Rodgers is, he's been average this year.
Yeah.
They went out and get a receiver, trade for him in the offseason, right, Segs? What happened there? He's okay. He's a beast, but he's not taking games over like you expect great players to do. Do you fear their run game? Do you fear their defense? Defense has gotten a little bit better as it's gone on. I'm just talking about
TJ Watt. That's about it.
Okay, great. So if I take him out of the game and double team him and chip him on a regular basis, who's beating me right now? So the thing for me is my respect for the Steelers and Mike Thomas through the roof. My fear for the Steelers is, a yawner with a Casper the Friendly Ghost costume on at Halloween, not the Grim Reaper or the damn Purge costume or mask you wear, or Mike Myers. They don't scare me. Now, are they capable of that big game because Rodgers and he knows the division that he's played in the past? Sure. This is a different Bears team. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, put it this way, which quarterback do you fear more beating you in more different ways this week? Caleb Williams. Even though Caleb hadn't been great, the ability to buy time with his feet and the rest of it gives you a little bit more. And they're in first place. So they're not bad. Now, they're not just, by the way, if Caleb Williams does both and is two-dimensional, look out. He just got to guard against, like we saw Josh Allen. Dude, you don't have to make every throw or every play, force every play. Let it happen. Run it. Ben Johnson does a great job of putting you in position. The Bears are more explosive. The Bears overall, in my mind, are better. And I think they're more dangerous. And at home, unless Rodgers plays his best game, I think the Bears win the football game. And I don't say that with much hesitation. Do I think it's going to be close and look ugly? I absolutely think it's going to be an ugly-looking game. I don't know what the weather forecast is, but Pittsburgh and Chicago, they should be fine with it because both teams play in cold. I'm not worried about that.
Cold is all.
That's okay. Big deal. You can get through that. So for me, the elements aren't going to affect it. 20 degrees, 10 degrees, 35 degrees, no rain, so who cares? And snow's not that big a deal anyway if it was snowing.
Right.
So for me, I'm just telling you that the Pittsburgh Steelers that I have zero fear about. The only thing I get concerned about is this the game they explode on both sides of the ball. Right. All together, for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. I think that to me, I don't know the last time we went to a game when I thought the Steelers were worse than the Bears. The Bears are a better football team than the Steelers are right now. Give me the Bears.
All right. Now, I'm leaning that way too, but I'm a Bears fan, so I'm not going to,
You're like, you go to the Bears like I go my USC Trojans. Yeah. You tread lightly, dude. Yeah, I get it.
You're still kind of waiting to see about the Bears defensive backfield, and I think that'll play a difference in the game. Jalen Johnson has, tried to make his comeback earlier than we thought. We were thinking middle of December. He's already in his 21-day window. Kyler Gordon he's in his 21-day window. So they're both questionable, I believe was the last I saw, to play this week. So I'm not expecting them to play, but the Bears defense has done enough. And it's not like you said, these are world beaters. Okay, where's your confidence level in the Bears winning this NFC North division?
And real quick, Isaiah, you're right. Rodgers' record against the Chicago Bears, phenomenal. He's dominated in his career. Matter of fact, his record against the Bears is one of the best all-time records of any quarterback versus the opponent in the same division. It may be the best. I don't know if somebody's bypassed him. But I can tell you this Pittsburgh team ain't Green Bay's teams right now. If they're just not offensively. They're not. They're not when they have an effective, I'm talking about a dominant. Now, Rodgers is good enough still to have that game. And Segs, it's like a golf course you go play that no matter how you're feeling about your swing, you always play well there, right? Mm-hmm. Or it's a pitcher that no matter how bad he's going, there's a great hitter that he just always gets out, or vice versa, just hitter can't get a hit. Rodgers may have that. I'm just going by what I've seen. I'm talking about 2025 body of work by the team. And I love Aaron Rodgers. I do. Some may not. Aaron Rodgers is capable of going and taking over a game still. But I don't see enough of them. He can't throw it, catch it, run it, and do it all. And I haven't seen enough of them to scare me into thinking, man, there's 400 yards at the end of this waiting. Maybe there is. But I don't really care about Rodgers in Chicago on this team. Pittsburgh, now, if you say, man, give me the Steelers that we've always known, well, yeah, but this ain't the same Steelers. Even though they sit at the top, they just don't look the same to me. Most are probably going to take Pittsburgh, honestly, because of Rodgers' record. But Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers ain't the same as Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers against the Chicago Bears. As far as Segs as them winning the division, well, they're in first place, so they got a legitimate chance. I know this. I would still think that Detroit's the best team in the division with Green Bay hanging. I would put Chicago as the third best team if you said pick them now the rest of your Segs. But just for the trust factor of having been there, experienced coaches on both teams ahead of a guy who's his first year head coaching, does Caleb and do these guys know how to win in December? I don't know that yet. We don't. Right. We can sit here and say we think they do, but I know Detroit does, and I sure shit know the Green Bay Packers have proven that as well. And then, hey, when they're going well, Goff, Love, Caleb Williams, you got a hell of a quarterback division. One day McCarthy, but right now he's a little bit in over his head. If Darnold was playing there, we'd say this may be the best quarterback division in the league right now. So with health. So do I think they can? Yes, Sigs. But right now, if you said neutral site, Detroit, Chicago are playing, I'd still pick the Lions right now. But we may be seeing a flip over on the moxie and the ability to deal with it. We had the Bears better. Nobody had them in first place going into the last week of November. Right. We just didn't. So I would still say I would probably choose Detroit, and I'm still pretty bullish on the Packers because I know they can get after it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I am not sleeping on the Bears and just saying, well, the Bears, they haven't been there before. Maybe they're just naive enough and being well coached enough this year that they can roll through it this time around. They are going to, one way or the other, disrupt this playoff picture, whether it's them rolling through and winning a division or whether it's them getting after Detroit or Green Bay or somebody and disrupting their path to first place. The Bears are going to have a major say in it the last month of the year.
Yeah. Another thing to watch for in this Chicago-Pittsburgh game is Caleb's had monster games against really bad pass defenses, Cowboys, Bengals, so on. Pittsburgh Steelers give up the most passing yards per game in the league. So, I mean, if you want to see, if Caleb can continue that trend against bad passing defenses, now can you control TJ Watt? I think that's the big key there. But we've seen Caleb make plays, and he's starting to look more comfortable playing in rhythm in Ben Johnson's offense.
And in the pocket. No
yes,
doubt.
Is what
your rhythm.
Bears fans want to see, the growth of Caleb Williams there. So we're seeing
and it's not just now, Sakes, the growth of his career.
Yes.
Getting better from there is going to do nothing but enhance his feet even more when people are like, well, where's the launch point, man? This guy can now beat me from here. If he has one of those days where he's just not doing anything with his legs or on the edge or off schedule, and you say, damn, he's kind of doing now what Lamar's doing. He's beating you from places you didn't know if he was going to be able to beat you from as his career went on. And he does. Lamar does. And Caleb there's still a lot of steps to take. But nobody can argue his supreme elite skill set because he does have that. But he doesn't have to do this all himself in this game. And Segs, it's a bad combo. Excuse me. If you're not hitting the quarterback and your secondary that you and I can go throw for 300 on, that's a bad Pittsburgh combo. So they better get the pressures better come up front, because if they're letting him set his feet or buy time and do his thing, the Pittsburgh Steelers can't lock on in the secondary. They're going to get hammered regardless of who the personnel they're playing.
Yeah, and then another big game this week. The Indianapolis Colts travel to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is big from the Chiefs' standpoint of you could fall under 500 if you lose this game. And from the Colts' standpoint, it's can we keep up with the Patriots and the Broncos, who are both 9-2. Indy sits at 8-2. To get that top spot in the playoffs. So I think we feel like all three of those teams are making the playoffs, winning their divisions. Now who gets that first seed in home field throughout the playoffs? But let's start in Kansas City. How dangerous of a spot is this? I know we talked this week and we both said we think the Chiefs make the playoffs, but you fall to 5-6 and then some other teams win. Jacksonville wins. We just saw Houston beat Buffalo last night, which was a big win, which, Now Kansas City has to win to keep them even with the Texans in the playoff hunt. So this is a big game for Kansas City. How do you feel about the Colts coming to Arrowhead?
And think about this, Segs. In that where their eyes and ears are, they got to focus on the game. But both the Chiefs and the Colts are still looking in the Chiefs for the wild card staring directly at the Texans. Mm-hmm. And the Colts are staring down thinking, we still got to play them again. We lose this game, and now we're 8-3, and they're playing good football, and their defense is really good. We still have a head-to-head with them. We still got to play them, and they're doing this without their starting quarterback. It becomes that 3-game lead's fun, Segs. Down to a 2-game lead, and you still got to play them becomes a little uncomfortable, right? Because at the beginning of this year, we had the Texans rolling through, winning the division by a couple games. Yep. But injuries, bad play, new offensive coordinator have getting to the point where they're trying to pick it back up. But they're in the side view mirror. The object is closer than it appears, and that's uncomfortable. So how, if you're the Colts, when you go to Kansas City, how are you playing? Are you playing uncomfortable? Or are you playing freewheeling like you have all year long that's produced a lot of points and a great running game? The Colts, I believe, are going to win the division. The Chiefs obviously probably have a bigger eye towards the Texans than not, because you lose this one, now you're under 500, and then you're in a chase mode. Here's how I think this, and they're mature enough to handle it in Kansas City. And it's still, I still can't say they're done right now. I just can't say, because I told you, I still think with a 1 or 2 more wins in a row, and they get rolling, they know how to handle December and January. I still think they're going to get in. That's just me. Mm-hmm. But one thing I do know, they're veteran enough to handle a head coach standing up and saying you have to treat every game like it's single elimination. And then when people say, well, it's not single elimination, if you tell your team that, then and they lose, then they'll be packing it up, and then they'll just kind of, oh, we're done. These guys are veteran and smart enough to look and say, okay, we're 5-6. Now we got to go win 6 in a row. We're 5 in a row to get in, right? So yes, my approach during the week is this is a playoff game, and so is next week, and so is next week. Because now you're not only relying on you to go win, because you're not winning the division. Now you got to deal with people that are not in your division, and one that is, meaning the Chargers in your division. The Broncos are going to win this division, I believe, and they're too far in front, 4 games, and with a win over Kansas City, that you're starting to stare at teams like the Texans, Segs, those Pittsburgh, Baltimore. So now you're not only looking at you, which the Chiefs don't have to do. I mean, they look at them, but they don't have to look around and say, hey, man, we're in a wild card race. Oh, we haven't seen that in a decade, right?
Right.
So they have got to be supremely focused, and they have to treat it like single elimination. If they don't, and there's kind of a lack of urgency, which I can't believe they'd have, then the Kansas City Chiefs, you'll see it in the performance, and they will go away. And if this game that they're playing against this team doesn't come at you with urgency, then the Kansas City Chiefs aren't the team we thought they were in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, it's very dangerous. And you just mentioned kind of another dangerous part. We keep talking about the Texans being right there with them, but that Pittsburgh, Baltimore, AFC North.
They're both staring at both of them. Yes.
I think we all expect Baltimore to kind of just continue on and win that division, but Pittsburgh's going to sit right there in that 9 win, just like they always do, right in that 9 to 10 win window. And then you're fighting them for a playoff spot. You're fighting the Texans, and then you still have the Jags in there as well, who actually
Chargers
are in the
your own
playoffs right now.
division.
Yes, you have the Chargers. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams to be watching, and it's going to be fun to see.
Segs, think about who's in the wild card. Let's just assume the Broncos, Baltimore. Let's just I think Baltimore's playing better. I think Baltimore's better than Pittsburgh right now. So the Chargers, yes. I mean the Broncos, Baltimore, Patriots, and Colts.
Yeah.
And now a team you didn't have to expect you even would think about. You didn't expect the Patriots to be doing what they're doing. And you sure as heck didn't think you'd have to deal with Buffalo as a wild card. So now you got Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Texans, Jaguars, Chargers, and you. Now, not only when you're in first, you're the Colts, you just control your own thing, man. You take care of your business. You don't give a fuzzy rat's. All you're doing is wondering if you're staying at home or not to play.
Right.
Now you're the Chiefs, and not only you're doing this, but you got to tune in and watch, okay, what's going to go on with the Pittsburgh team this week in Chicago? Oh, okay. Now I got to deal with what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens. How are they going to do this week? And oh yeah, the Patriots are there. But now the Buffalo Bills, they lost, which is great for us, but now it creeps them back closer to us, so we're in a fight with them. I mean, you start to look at it, now you're no longer in control of your own business. You're in third place in your division.
Mm-hmm.
And in the wild card, so the wild card, every loss gets tougher. They're veteran enough. They have to treat it like single elimination, like they're going to be done if they don't win. Even though they'll still be mathematically alive, it almost feels like a lot to overcome with all those teams bunched together. But still, with 5 or 6 games to go, they're in it because they're the Chiefs. But this is a monster game this weekend.
And it feels like a team that nobody really talks about. We've mentioned them, but the Jacksonville Jaguars just beat those Los Angeles Chargers 35-6 last week. That gives them an edge there. Then they play the Cardinals, the Titans, the Colts, then the Jets, and then Broncos, Colts, Titans. So, I mean, they already are sitting right now at 6-4. I mean, you have 5 winnable games in there.
They should have yawned their way to a win against the Texans.
Yes.
They stone cold gave the shit away, and the Texans keeps the Texans happy and rolling. And the Jacksonville with some careless, stupid football. And you know what will be the suck for them? You get to the last game of the season, you're in a battle, and you lose out on a spot because you had a damn near a 27-point or 24-point lead at halftime, and you gave it away. And the Texans earned it. Don't misunderstand me, but you lost that game. So we always point to a moment or two when the season's over, good or bad. And this can be that moment. So Jacksonville's hanging, but they'd be hanging even tighter had they taken care of their business, which the Texans are grateful for.
Oh, I don't know if you saw it. Dr. J just hitting you, Sean. Says the Raiders are still in the race for the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
He got
again.
Great. And they're going to take a quarterback. They're going to take name a quarterback that's going to come out that you're just like.
They're going to take a guy who's supposed to be picked in the 4th round.
Yeah, they're going to take Garrett Nussmeier with the 4th pick, and everyone's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Just, you know what? I'm not talking about the Raiders today.
Okay.
You guys can't do this to me. And yes, they are going to be in that position. They're not very good. Now watch them. And Shedeur, perfect time for you to start. Just block Max Crosby, and you probably got a decent chance to perform this week with the Cleveland Browns on the road. But, yeah, the Raiders are going to be picking high again, and hopefully Chip Kelly will have something to work with moving forward to earn the $6 million a year, because right now the Raiders can't beat us on this show. That's how bad they are.
It's a rough go for
the
Las Vegas Raiders. Last big game of the weekend, Tampa at the Rams, and this is a game. I mean, Tampa's lost 3 of their last 4. Their only wins against the Saints. You've lost to the Lions, the Patriots, and the Bills. So, I mean, 3 good teams, we think, with talking about the Bills. But how dangerous is this for the Tampa Bay Bucks that if they go to LA and lose to the Rams, they're 6-5? I don't think people realize the Panthers are 6-5.
Yeah.
So you're going to be tied for your division. Now Tampa plays Carolina plays Monday night, so you could get the division lead back. But I mean, we were talking about Tampa as a runaway, one of the Super Bowl favorites in the NFC. Now we're kind of like, what's going on? I know they've had a bunch of injuries, but it's not an excuse. You got to go out and play with who's out there, and they have not showed up 3 of the last 4 weeks.
They're going to keep this up. They're going to dick around and miss the playoffs, because I don't think 2 teams from that division are going. Now, maybe they will.
I don't think so.
Carolina, I don't think so.
Right.
So you got to have my gut when I looked at this game and just thinking about the history of it and who they are. I would expect them to play their best road game of the year this week. I don't know if it's going to mean they're going to win, because you're running into what I still think right now is as good a team as there is, if not the best team in football. I think the Rams are that good. But remember, they won last week, and Stafford didn't even play his best football game. Yeah. So the Rams should play well. I think this is going to be a close game, Segs. I know we'll talk about the betting part of it at the end, but I expect Tampa. I'd be more concerned about Tampa showing up had they gone in and played great football last week and kicked Buffalo's ass and been on a 2-3 game run. I know momentum and confidence game to game, all that. But I would expect that the week of practice has been awfully focused, and especially knowing where they are and that Baker's going back to the team he was a backup quarterback on. I would expect Baker Mayfield and them to show up well and compete. I still think the Rams are going to win the football game, and we're in for one hell of a run down the stretch. And who the hell knows with Carolina and San Francisco what's going to happen in that game, because you know what? So San Francisco's got still enough bodies that, with no Fred Warner, you can move the football on them, and they know how to run it. Bryce Young's pretty damn good. So this is getting to the, I don't want to say desperate, but you're going to need to win that division, in my opinion, to more than likely get in the playoffs. So pressure's mounting on a lot of these teams, and Tampa's playing very, very average football right now. They need their best effort on the road to win. They'll keep it close. They just won't win.
CD Lamb, we talked about this. Him and George Pickens had to sit out the first drive of last week's game. There was a report that he was seen early morning hours, so 3-4 o'clock or something like that, in a Las Vegas casino throwing up in the lobby. He came out and denied those rumors. He said that he and George Pickens were out probably a little too late. They went out to dinner and had a few drinks, and he says that's all it was. But I mean, you don't go to dinner and have a few drinks and you get disciplined by your team for being out so late. So you know they were out. Now, I don't know if he was throwing up. There's no video. We haven't seen anything. But what do you take from this situation with the Cowboys, who continue to just kind of be, they're a great offense, but just becoming kind of a laughing stock to everybody else in the league?
Oh my gosh. First off, you're right. I don't see it. If there's not video, I'm not going to take somebody that just said, "Oh, he was throwing up." But regardless of that, okay, if you're throwing up, then you're an amateur. Take care of yourself. But I know he thinks he can handle his liquor. But okay, let's put that aside. What are you doing out past curfew the night before a game, or the morning of a game? I don't care that it's a night game.
Right
now, if you're telling me the Cowboys did not set a curfew and they trust their players the night before a game, I've never been on a team in my life. We've gone to cities where we've gone there a couple days early, and the 2 nights before, like I remember one time in Seattle, we went to Cincinnati, got there 2 days before. Curfew was midnight 2 nights before, and 11 o'clock the night. That's usually the standard, 11 o'clock night before. And we also, at times when we travel to Tampa, it was cold in Minnesota, we go there and practice there for a couple days. Even though we could have practiced in our indoor bubble, we wanted to get away. But curfew midnight, and then the night before the game, back to 11 o'clock. And if you wanted to go have a beer at 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, at dinner with your buddies when you travel, great. But be a pro and show up on time. Don't miss curfew. And when people say, "Oh, it's the pros," no, that's not the way this works. It's not okay. I don't care that you're playing the Raiders. I wouldn't care if you were playing a college all-star team and you were in the NFL. If your curfew, say if the Cowboys don't have a curfew, then the Cowboys are just idiotic. But I would imagine, knowing Brian Schottenheimer, the father that had, who was such a great coach, and Marty was strict on stuff like this, that Brian probably says, "Listen, 11 o'clock, even if it's a midnight curfew because it's a night game, right? The next night." They were still out drinking after curfew, or throwing up if that was the case. And if not throwing up, drinking and enjoying. But how the laissez-faire casual, "Oh, I can handle it. We're just out having a few drinks." Dude, when I would go out to dinner, or anybody I was with, you're always clock watching.
Right.
And we normally would have a 9 o'clock meeting on the night before a game. You'd go in and have a team snack, burgers, some pasta. And then we'd have one little quick, maybe a 5-minute get together. We'll have, okay, see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for our meeting before we go to the stadium. We had a 9 o'clock, and you had to be at the 9 o'clock snack. Check in, even if you didn't want to eat, check in and then go back up to your hotel room or whatever. And then you had to be in your room, not lights out, we'd say and watch TV, but in your room by 11 o'clock. So why is this is there any wonder why the Cowboy, why this happens? If you allow it to happen, then you're encouraging it. If they had curfew, which I'm assuming they did, and it was at the latest midnight, and you're still out drinking and just kind of, "Oh, yeah, we had a few drinks at dinner." What guy that's responsible, or teammates that are responsible and dedicated to their profession, we all make mistakes. That's not a mistake, Segs. No. That's not. We mistakenly run through a yellow light because it doesn't stay green long enough. We don't mistakenly roll through a stop sign going 30 miles an hour. You look at all four, you just go. That's a choice. So if you're not looking at it, what are you thinking about? You got other guys. Well, let me ask you this. Was Dak Prescott in?
Yep.
Was their best defensive tackle in? Was their secondary? Were they all in at curfew? These two were the only ones who missed. And the fact that they were and they only missed a series is beyond me. You're not sending any discipline. So first of all, the disciplinary function of the Cowboys sucks ass, number one.
Right.
This is not personal with CD. It's not personal with Pickens. I don't know them. Both really talented, good players. But the fact of the matter is you're not bigger than this team. And to just kind of, oh, yeah, the time got away from us. Shit, you got a game tomorrow night, and you're the Cowboys, and you ain't sniffed a fucking Super Bowl since the middle of 1995, since the middle of the 90s. And it's like, yeah, you ain't the Colts. You ain't the Chiefs. You're not Philadelphia. And all across the league, I didn't see anybody else, maybe Abdul Carter's situation, but any good team that we heard a report that guys miss curfew. So I just don't get, there's that attitude of, oh, don't worry. I feel like I can do whatever I want. I just don't understand the thought process. Superstar or third string backup, your job is to be there on time. And not only that, if you want to have a few beers, fine. We'll treat you like a pro until you can't act like a pro and a grown-ass man. Now your curfew next week is 9 o'clock. What do we do? Oh, we'll suspend you for we'll bench you for a series. Woo, I'm sure that shit was impactful. I just don't understand who goes into their job. Like I see an everyday job. Some people just show up late, say, oh, yeah, what time are you supposed to clock in? Oh, 7. I'm there at 7:20.
Yeah.
What? I just don't understand the whole thought process. And that has nothing to do with, oh, you're a little older. No, that's a rule from 1940 all the way to now. Show up on time or otherwise you disrespect every other person on your team. And you're basically telling them their shit doesn't mean anything to you.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Well, that's what it is. It's just a lack of disrespect there, and it's
disrespectful. It's a lack of respect,
lack of respect. That's what I meant.
No doubt.
Lack of respect.
No doubt.
All right, looking to college football. We got 2 games I want to quick talk about. Let's start with Mizzou, Oklahoma. This is essentially Oklahoma has to win out to get into the playoff. They lose, they drop like Texas with their 3rd loss. When you're Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou, you got arguably the number 1 back in Hardy in the country. You've got the quarterback, the kid from Penn State, I'm blanking on his name now, is trying to work his way back and play this week. Bo Pribula, he's trying to work his way back and play from injury this week. If you're Mizzou, are you kind of looking at this game being like, yeah, we're not going to make the playoffs, but we still want to get a higher bowl. We still want to go out and, you know what? Let's cause the SEC some ache and take another team out from the conference and take them out of the playoff. Is that how you're looking at this if you're Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou?
Yeah, Segs, I think you got 3 things on the burner. You get people how you're playing on your stove because you're cooking stuff at the same, so it's all hot at the same time. It sounds cheesy to say this, but your number 1 priority is I'm not worried about the playoff. We're going in there to kick somebody's ass, and they're a good team. What are they? 23rd, 24th in the country right now, with their 20th somewhere in there. I'm talking about Missouri.
Yeah, they're like 1 or 2. I want to say.
Yeah,
like that,
right.
I guess.
Just inside the top 25 is my point.
Yeah.
You have a good football team, and you know where Oklahoma's coming from after the emotional win, controlling that again, happened to raise it because it's not like Oklahoma's playing somebody they're supposed to beat by 30.
Right.
And if you don't play well, you still win by 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying, Six?
Mm-hmm.
Missouri can play, and their coach will have them prepared. And if they get their quarterback back, that's different. For Missouri, if they get it going, they can run the football. They're as good. They can dominate running the football and control clock. So if I'm Eli, I'm saying we got a great opportunity to beat somebody in their building and spoil where they're headed. Yes, that's that second one on the back burner that's warm. My number 1 thing is, screw this. We're going to beat Oklahoma and prove that we are the team. And in the process of getting the green beans off the stove, we have taken care of your liver and fried potatoes. People are like, oh, that's nasty. Well, it could be one of those nasty games. You take care of that business. And in the process of playing well, because you're nobody's pushover like some teams have been in the past. You're going in, knowing the emotion, play on it. They had a high emotional win, and you're coming off an ass kicking, right? Didn't they get their ass kicked with the freshman quarterback stakes that we thought be a little closer? They didn't play well.
Right.
And for Oklahoma, your number 1 priority. Material make enough plays. You better stop the run, buddy. you had better prevent, and we know Oklahoma's as good as areas in the country, even though Alabama doesn't run it well anyway. The Oklahoma's defense can stop anybody at the right night, but you have got to force them to be one-dimensional, and their quarterback can throw it if he's healthy. Missouri's, but so on that side, that's what you do. But if you're Missouri, Eli, you're probably focused on the playoff and all that stuff. That's fine. In order to even have somebody talking about us, you got to beat OU, and in order to eliminate OU, you go win this football game. You got a good chance at least being able to say we disrupted it. We're moving up a handful of spots. They're moving down, and we're one step closer, and they're one step further away. Of course, there's satisfaction in that, but I'm preaching. This is a chance for recruiting and for us to go prove that we belong. We're nobody's afterthought anymore. And Missouri should play better after that embarrassment they had last week.
And then the other game, the big game of the weekend, you see it there. Your Trojans travel up to Oregon to face the Ducks. And this is a game that USC must win to stay in the college football playoff hunt. And Oregon, you don't want to lose now and kind of have that feeling of, man, we just lost a couple weeks ago. Now we got to get ready for the playoffs. Now you're maybe sitting 10th. If you stay in, you're sitting 10th, or you maybe even drop out. If depending on how they feel about you versus Notre Dame, Alabama, and the other 2-loss team Oklahoma, if Oklahoma wins. So I think it's just, this is a big game on both sides. Who do you give the edge to? Is it still the Ducks? But Maeva and company can score with anybody. I think we kind of have a track meet here, and I think it's going to be a really fun game. I probably lean the Ducks a little bit just based on what they can do, but USC has shown me that they can score with anybody, and I think that keeps this game close and really interesting.
Yeah, there's no doubt. One of the top offenses in the country. Mm-hmm. They're just going to have their defense play great football this week. They are, because a lot of teams beat at Oregon. So I know we'll talk about the betting. I'm not going to touch this game because of that karma that gets me every week, and more so for the Trojans than for me losing money. And we'll talk about that line shortly. But it's the game itself. Going into last week, there's no team in the country who was averaging over 200 yards rushing and 300 yards passing, and then they score a lot. So I know they can score, and that's a fast track, regardless if it's raining or not. I expect a track meet as well. I hope I'm wrong on that, because I hope the track meet's one-sided and our defense shows up and gets some stops and some turnovers. But I would expect scoring. One thing that also gives me hope is that a good offensive team that people don't give enough credit to but are starting to take notice now is that Indiana went in there and kicked Oregon's ass. That gives me hope that a good offensive team can maybe force a few, that if you can score, you continue to force them to have to make a play at the other end, which Oregon's always been good for. If you're Dan Lanning, you're preaching. You're almost preaching. We win and we're in. We lose and we're in a major. And there's 3 teams, like Alabama loses another game, Oklahoma loses another game, Oregon loses this game. There's trouble. Oregon could hang around, but you almost have to have psychologically, like, man, we can't trust the committee. Let's go take care of our business in this football game. So I like Oregon in the game a little bit too, Segs, just because where it's being played in Autzen Stadium's harsh and tough. But I tell you this, our offense doesn't have to take a back seat to theirs, meaning the Trojans. It doesn't have to take 1 ounce of back seat. Quarterback's playing as well as their quarterback. The playmakers, the best receiver on the field is on the SC sideline. Yeah, he's coming into this game. So and Oregon's loaded with talent too. You know what it says? You know what's really going to decide the game? Which guy gets a fourth? Put it this way: how much you want to bet that 5 times? I'll take the over on 5 times teams going for it on 4th down combined between the 2 teams. Yeah. Get one of those stops at midfield and go short. Out of all this offensive talk, you know what's going to come down to, Sig? Somebody doesn't kick a field goal on 4th down and goes for it and gets stuffed, and the game ends up 31-27, 31-28, 31-30. So that's the type of game I expect. I would favor Oregon here too, and it's not reverse psychology. But if SC plays good defense, their offense can score, and they will. Yeah. But depending on the rain and the weather, you got to protect the football. But it'll come down to one of those gambles that you stuff, and then you take it down the other end of the field and win a game. I think it's one of those type of games, and I think this game's in the 60s. I really do.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, I mean, there is talent all over the field on the offensive side of the ball, both sides. I mean, when you look at Oregon, Dante Moore talked about being a first-round pick. If he doesn't go out this year, he'll be a first-round pick next year.
He got a stage this week, doesn't he, Segs?
Yes.
Another big stage for him. Yep.
You got the freshman there in Davison, the running back, Moore, the wide receiver. You got Kenyon Sadiq, who's the number 1 tight end in the draft coming up. You've got Whittington, who continues to just, hit big run after big run after big run.
Man,
and then Mayava, Lemon, and company at USC are damn near the same thing. Mekhi Lemon's talked about, and some people have him as a top 10 pick in the NFL draft.
I think he's as good a receiver as there is on the field. He's playing as good as anybody in the country a lot of times. In Segs, what's crazy is this scouts love this game. Everybody loves it. Gets a big stage. We're going to find out who's got moxie enough to deal with the pressure. Both are well coached offensively. Both can score from anywhere. Mm-hmm. And both believe their defenses are good enough to get stops. And SC's at a disadvantage because where they're playing. But if Lincoln Riley also wants to put his foot on this gig and show the world that their defense is different this year, this is a beautiful time to do it for them. And it'll be a difficult task.
And I think it'll come, and it always does, but which quarterback doesn't turn the ball over? If Moore goes out and throws 2 picks, that gives USC all the
unless our guy does the same thing. You're exactly right, Segs.
Right.
Well, I don't want to play scared, but just don't play stupid. And there is a difference.
Well, last night you had a team that call me crazy, whatever. I was watching this game for most of it. We had USC hit a buzzer beater in triple overtime to beat Troy. And I don't know if you saw this, but Troy has it. They have the ball with 7 seconds left, and all they got to do is keep it. And a kid grabs it, throws it down the floor, overshoots his teammate, and USC gets the steal, passes it up, and the kid makes a running left-handed 3-pointer at the buzzer to get the win. I mean,
and it was kind of ugly looking to start.
It was very ugly looking. I mean, the fact that he double clutched and everything. This would have been a bad loss for your Trojans early in the season, but you know what? Also early in the season, you got to find ways to win some of these games against some of these schools that, you should kind of boat race sometimes, but these wins can also show your team something and teach them a lesson moving on into February and March and April, hopefully, for all these teams. So
how to win a game when you played average? Trojans. Regardless of the opponent, how to win a game when you weren't very good last time, right? Yeah. And I'm watching. I had one eye. I'm watching a few things. I got one eye to it, right? Segs, you're watching that. You're watching football, and I'm keeping an eye on it. And I'm thinking, you're kidding me. We're not losing this one early,
right?
And then all of a sudden, you see the result. Then you watch the highlight over and over and over again. You say, somebody's smiling down on the Trojans. But the big picture of this, Segs, you are right. I am a firm believer in if they win that game by 15, they learn far less than how they won the game last night. I believe that 100%. Now, Troy's going to be bummed because they had a legitimate shot to do their thing, right?
Right.
Are they the Trojans too? Are they the Trojans as well, Sigs? Is that their nickname? Part of me feels like they are. But regardless, USC did their thing, and an awkward, ugly-looking finish, but you'll take it any way you can. And almost you see the guy when he grabbed the ball, like touches you. It's like, how do we pull this one off? But they did, and that will bode well because leaning on games that you really don't think that you were going to win, especially as the clock was, the waning seconds of the game, you got the ball back with a chance to go down and knock it down, and you did. Well, there you go. So I'll take them any way I can get them, brother. I know it's football season, but this win, it's not, it's not you didn't beat Michigan State or Kansas or Duke and one of those, but you still won a game that, quite frankly, you probably should have lost last night.
Yes, for sure. All right, let's do our 6-pack of picks as we do every single Friday. We pick 3 NFL, 3 college games against the spread, and then the over-under if we like it. Let's start in the NFL, Sean, as we do each week. Let's start with the Steelers at the Bears. Bears are favored by 2.5 with a 45.5 over-under.
I'm taking the under in the game, Sage. I like the Bears at home. I think they can win this by a field goal, even with Rodgers' record against the Bears, but I feel more comfortable with it. It feels ugly to me. Feels like an ugly game. I just think the teams are going to struggle to score, and this will be one where it's 51-48. But I like the under in the game. I think this is 23-20 type game. Give me the under.
Okay. I'm going with the Bears and the over. I think points will be scored, a little more. I think we could see like a 30-24 type.
And I'm saying this, not trust. I'm saying this, and I don't trust the Steelers defense, but you're hoping that the inconsistency, if you're a Steelers fan, of the offense. So that's why I'm taking the under. Looks too obvious to be the over, right?
All right, Philly -3.5 on the road against the Cowboys that we just talked about.
I'm taking the over, but I'm taking the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are inside that number. I think it's a field goal game. I've just talked about all the discipline problems, and I've taken the Cowboys. But I know the Cowboys can score, and what's going on with the Eagles and the eruption and the explosiveness of offense, even though we continue to give Jalen Hurts, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for winning and playing big in big games. But this is a great rivalry game. Heck, the Cowboys had him early in the season, right, Segs?
Yep.
Had him and couldn't close it. I think the Cowboys win this one. Keep pace. I like the Cowboys. 3-point game. I'll take the Cowboys at +3.5, and I like the over in the game.
I got the same exact thing. I thought maybe, it'd be different there where, we look at this, but I think I like Dallas as well. Just whatever's going on in Philly. I know they keep finding ways to win, but this Dallas offense can score and they can put up points fast. So I think that I'm with you in Dallas and the over. All right, Tampa Bay at the Rams. Rams a touchdown favorite, and it line sits
Vegas
at 49.5.
Vegas loves the Rams, dude, with big point spreads. What do you think?
I'm going Rams. I think they're just playing that well right now. I don't expect Stafford to have 2 average games in a row. I think he comes out and plays much better than he did last week against Seattle, who has a much better defense than Tampa Bay, in my opinion. So I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. I'm taking the over the 49.5, and I would take the Rams to cover that.
Yeah, so just to be different, I think the Rams win the game. I think the Rams are proven to me that they're the team to beat in the NFL right now. I believe that wholeheartedly, just because of the overall play. And I think Stafford's playing like the most valuable player. I got the over in the game. I think it's a game that 50s up and towards the 60s, Segs. I really do. But I think the Buccaneers can keep this close, if nothing else, even if they're down by 10, Baker throw a touchdown late. I think it'll be inside. You give me the Bucs at +7. Rams win the game. Bucs get inside the number, and I take the over on the points as well. Even though Baker may be running around, because we know that front can get after you a little bit with the Rams. So they're going to have to get some plays to get going rhythm and mix in some play action for them as well.
Flipping over to college, Mizzou at Oklahoma. Oklahoma a touchdown and a hook favorite with a 42.5 over/under.
Under in Mizzou. Mizzou plays better. I think they run the football well enough to at least shorten the game. Eli will have them ready to go. We see this all the time, the emotion of a team that went in and won a huge game. Can you carry it over another week? The one thing that helps emotion, Segs, is defense that travels, right? Even though they're at home, I'm talking about defense, because defense plays on that emotion every week, right?
Right.
The calmness of an offense, defense. I like Missouri I think Oklahoma will win a game. I think it's going to be closer than 7.5, and I like the under in the game. I think that, Oklahoma, while there may be yards moved, I don't see you dominating Oklahoma's defense. I think that I take the under, and I got Mizzou.
I'm going Oklahoma. I think they cover. And if I had to pick, I would steer clear of the number, but I would say slightly over, like a 27-20, which again would not cover. But I think Oklahoma gets it done, and I'd take the over. And
that 42.5 is one of the low number. What's the lowest number on our board? And you know how I feel about high overs and low. If that number was at 82, I would take the over, Segs, because it's when they're set at that. And then at halftime, it's like, man, they got 6 touchdowns they got to score, and they score 6 in one quarter, both teams, right? So, but I like the under just because I think Venables' defense is playing great football. So there you go.
All right, your Trojans against the Ducks. Ducks a 10.5-point favorite at home with a high 59.5 over.
I feel like this is a disrespectful line. I do
too.
But if you're US, and I know that players aren't supposed to know this, but they know that they're heavy underdogs without saying the points. I think this is a disrespectful line, and I would feed off it, and I would have it posted everywhere. We're going in. We're playing for a chance to be in a playoff, and we're playing against a rival for us that we've played many, many times, and we're 10.5-point dogs, and we're the number 1 offense in the country, or right at it. Yeah, I would take this. This is a disrespectful line. I get it, but you give me USC inside that number, and I'm taking the over.
I have the exact same thing written down, SC and the over. I think this could be – I don't know that SC is going to win the game, but I give them a legit chance to. And I think they're inside that 10.5 and, like a 35-30, 35-33 type game, something along those lines. Either way wouldn't shock me in this
Agreed.
one. And then end with Tennessee traveling to Florida, the big rivalry between these two schools, a 4.5-point road favorite going against Florida and a 57.5 over under.
Taking the over, and I'm taking Florida at plus 4.5. Okay. I love Josh Heupel. I know Florida's in transition, but they're capable. So give me points scored. A lot of plays run. You're probably going to get 70 to 80 plays per team. Points will be scored. I like the over in the game. I trust the over more than I do the 4.5 points. But at home, I think Florida can do enough to stay in this football game. Give me the Gators at plus 4.5, and I'll take the over at 57.5.
Yeah, I've got the Volunteers, and I would, if I'm choosing, I'd take the over.
So you're taking Tennessee to cover.
Yes,
okay.
Tennessee to cover.
I'm taking Florida at plus 4.5. Yep.
Right. So, well, we'll see come Monday. We'll let you know how all these picks go. Seems like one weekend we have a really good weekend, then the next weekend we struggle. At least, one of us were up and down. So
last week was a good college weekend, I think, Segs, and an average NFL weekend, right?
It was, yes.
The
NFL
which doesn't shock me. The NFL's a joke.
Yeah, the NFL is like you cannot.
When it comes to betting, yeah. Like I said, you go 51. It's kind of like the president. When you get elected president, you hit 51% of the vote. Man, what a dominating performance! If you're winning 51% of the time with your NFL picks, to me, you're a superstar right now. And I don't even know where we're at, but I can tell you this: I see it all too often. It's like, what? They're and the way it's going, you don't have Buffalo getting beat last night, even though they're going on the road. You just didn't. Just like you didn't have the Tampa getting curb stomped by them the week before, maybe Buffalo winning, but not like that. I mean, or Josh Allen 6 touchdowns. It's a crazy ass league. So that's why these picks in the NFL, who the hell knows? Tampa may go in and beat the Rams, and we'll both be sitting back here saying, what the hell happened in this one, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Well, that'll do it. Enjoy your football weekend. Thank you to Triple E, Laura, and Bailey. As always, go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. We'll be back Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. I always have to think about that, just doing the double time. I always think I'm going to get it wrong, but I never do. But
you're always right, brother. On time. Go Trojans this weekend. Who do you play, Segs? Who you guys playing this week?
Maryland.
Michigan? Oh, that's right. You got Maryland, and then you finish with Ohio State, right? That's the next two for you. There you go.
Yep.
All right.
So
should be fun. You'll handle Maryland. I just hope my Trojans, of all this, I don't care what happens, just let my Trojans win this game. So we got to fight, because if they beat Oregon, they're going to give UCLA the business. Even though UCLA's played better, they won't let that game disrupt them, even though it's a rivalry game. So good stuff, man. Have a great weekend, and I appreciate you and everybody
as well.
Else. Thank you.
And thank you to all our listeners and viewers. We will talk to you guys next week. Peace.
Unpaved, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.